Trumpcession, a cleverly coined fear-mongering word, or is this the new reality? Hi, this is Load with Black Bear Dog Trading. This morning when I woke up, markets across the globe, across the board, were down. Nasdaq, Dow, S&P 500, Russell, all down. Individual stocks, equally, all down. Brought on by the tariffs that got slapped on other countries by the United States today. China, Canada, and Mexico in particular, with Europe waiting to get hit as well. So, are we really now in a recession, or is this only going to be a temporary thing? And what should you do? Well, Trump has been saying from day one that he was going to impose tariffs. So this really shouldn't be coming as a shock to anybody. And a little bit of foresight, you could have kind of sold off certain stocks and probably made some profit and then hold on to that profit until now we're sitting in a dip, and the dip may actually even go lower. So until such time that you can buy again very cheap and watch the market go back up. It's really how it works. Or you can do absolutely nothing. Just sit still if you don't have the financial, really the financial means, your investments aren't too big yet. Just sit still. Markets always bounce back. Don't ever forget that. They always do. Time and again, history has shown us that. And this time around won't be an exception either. Just a matter of how long is it going to take? And what can you do in the meantime? Well, according to VIX, which is the CBOE or the Chicago Board Options Exchange volatility indicator, it went up today well over 10%. So the higher this indicator goes, the more fear there is by the end consumer and by investors that things aren't looking good. And so they want to sell. They get in a panic mode and they want to sell and liquidate. That's not the right thing to do. A better thing to do is to follow the advice of, what's his name, major investor, Buffett, who says, when you're being shaved, the best thing to do is to sit quiet, don't move. So, it's the same concept here. Not only that, countries are fighting back. They're not going to take this laying down. Canada already did by imposing its own tariffs on the United States. And not only that, Canada added an extra measure to it by imploring all its citizens not to buy American-made products. And the citizens are doing it. Proof thereof is Walmart, McDonald's, Coca-Cola, Tesla, all down. Stocks were all down. There are a few more, but McDonald's, I think I mentioned it already, but they're all down because Canadians are not buying American-made products for the time being. So how long is this going to last? Well, that's anybody's guess. It's just applying a little bit of common sense. That's all you really have to do. Read the markets a little bit, be on top of what's going on, and stay current. You don't have to become an expert at anything. Just use a little bit of common sense, and you'll be able to weather this storm and get ahead again with no problem. It's just how it is. It's part of the game that's being played. And, Trump is looking out for his neck of the woods, so to speak, our country, and others are looking out for their neck of the woods, their country. So, just a matter of laying low and go with the flow. Really, it's all you can do. Canada and China are already imposing their own tariffs now as well. I just explained Canada. China now is doing the same thing. And um, Mexico has announced, and I just read this somewhere right here. Let me show you this little article right here. Let me see how am I going to get this here. Oh, I got to lower myself. Okay, smaller myself. Here we go. And you see right here, it says clearly China and Canada impose their own tariffs on U.S. goods right now. And President Claudia Sheinbaum of Mexico has said on Tuesday that she will announce whatever she is going to do as countermeasures to the tariffs that Trump imposed on Mexico. So this is clearly going to be a, waiting game. Eventually, there's going to be some sort of golden middle ground. It always happens, and that's the time that you react again. So let me just show you right here the VIX. It was 10% up this morning. Now it's 7%. So it's 7, 8. It goes back and forth, but it's going down a little bit. The rest of the stuff, of the stocks and bonds, index, whatever have you, you see they're all down, down, down across the board. They're all down. So, S&P down, Dow down, Nasdaq down, Russell down, the list goes on. So just relax, lay low, you'll be all right. And so let's just say that you do have some money to invest, or you want to temporarily move some of these investments elsewhere where you don't face this hurdle just yet. Well, what could you possibly do? Well, one thing you don't want to do is trade the VIX. Although it looks very enticing here, trading the VIX is a losing proposition. Fidelity clearly says, first of all, you cannot trade the VIX directly, the VIX index. You have to either trade a VIX ETF or a VIX ETN. And a VIX ETN is for futures. So, but it's clearly that it says here that a VIX ETF is a losing proposition, and you can lose significant money on top of it. So this is not something that you want to thus mess around with right here, and especially long term. So if you want to trade the VIX ETF, then you have to go short term, 1 month, 2 months, no more than that, maximum 3 months, but definitely no more than that. So what can you do? Well, you could go and invest in defense funds. And I'm only using, there are others, but I'm using the Fidelity Defense and Aerospace Index Fund, not index fund, because I use Fidelity as my broker. So the FSDAX, which is defense fund, went down a tiny bit, 0.18 or 0.92%. At year to date, we're only on the beginning of the third month, we're up over 6%. And on an annual performance, we're at 24.99%. So this looks good. Now you say, well, wait a minute, Trump also halted helping the Ukraine. There won't be any funding. There won't be any equipment being sent, military equipment. So isn't that going to put a damper in our manufacturing of defense equipment? And the answer is no. And I'm going to show you why not. According to Reuters, right here, it clearly says, this is Reuters newspaper, it says that they stopped the Ukraine aid, but only briefly. And this will only be for the weekend, and then they'll see how and what. And then either he may extend it for a little while, or he may continue, he may stop it and renegotiate with Zelensky for a possible quote unquote peace deal, which is really what he's really after is the minerals in the ground, rare earth and whatever else. So not only that, our defense departments, our defense companies can continue to build defense equipment because Biden approved shipments continue. It says right here, amid the uncertainty, Biden approved shipments continue. And Biden, who approved over $1 billion in weapons for the Ukraine before he left office. So there, I know that in defense equipment, $1 billion is quickly reached, considering that especially fighter jets and whatnot are super expensive. But nonetheless, this will continue. So personally, I see the halt, the temporarily halt that Trump imposed as a scare tactic to get Zelensky back to the table, and maybe they can start talking again. So what can you do then? Well, you can go and use, like I showed you, in my case, I use FSDAX, which is the Fidelity Defense, and temporarily move some or buy some of the invest in this fund instead. Even if you only do it for a short while, at least you'll have gains. You don't have total losses across the board. And as the VIX, use the VIX as a measuring tool. It's not for nothing called the fear indicator. A plus is bigger fear. Minus is a lot less fear, more confidence. So use that as part of your overall strategy. So that said, it also applies to forex trading, because just like I went over the 4 currency pairs that I trade, there hasn't been much happening since yesterday. The fiber, as you see right here, is on its ceiling. It kind of slightly broke through the ceiling, only to then retrace again and now be back at the ceiling, which now basically turns it into a support level right here. And now it's just a matter of wait and see. Are we going to go up here, or are we taking a major retracement down? So the same applies for the Ninja. When you look at the Ninja, it has the exact same thing happening. It went down below support right here, but quickly retraced back to being support, which is now a ceiling. And again, it's a matter of wait and see. Will it, in the next few days, go up, or will it go way back down and possibly giving us a sell opportunity? When I go to the Loonie, I have yet the exact same thing once again. Remember yesterday I discussed and said we had a major gap right here, which always usually follows down, which it sure enough did right here. Then it went back up again, and now we're sitting again. We hit a ceiling, we hit it here, here, and now here, and we had the same concept. First it went back down, now it went back up. This is now a ceiling yet again. So we'll see, will this go here? Will this go down? We don't know. It's a wait, see and wait game. And finally, we have the Aussie, and the Aussie is basically reflecting the exact same thing what it did yesterday. We are stuck again right here at all these levels, which were back and forth, support, resistance. At this point in time, it's a resistance level. It went first through making this a support level, then it went back up. I'm sorry, it went first up, making it a support level, then it went back down, making it a resistance level. Now it went back up again. So, it is yet again turning into either a support or a resistance level. At this point, it's either way. And again, we have to wait. Will this go here or will this go there? The final takeaway from all of this is just keep doing your analysis. Stay relaxed, stay quiet. There is no need to panic, at least not just yet. And eventually, all of this will kind of sort itself out. Turmoil is the cause for what we're experiencing right now, and the turmoil is brought on in part by tariffs, in another part by egos. And let's just put it out there, Trudeau doesn't want to be bullied by Trump. Trump doesn't want to be bullied by China. I mean, there's also egos involved. Of course, it has to do with looking out for your own backyard, but it also has to do with egos. I predict that before long we will see a smoothing out of all of this, and we'll go back where we were before tariffs were implemented, even if tariffs exist, because tariffs, the percentages will either be lowered or will meet at a common ground somewhere, but things will straighten out. So that's my take on what's going on. And as always, take care of yourself. See you in the next video, and God bless.